From across the nation and around the world, for Pacifica Headlines, I'm Jesse Lind. Video released by the Palestinian Red Crescent Society and verified by Al Jazeera showing Israeli settler children throwing stones and blocking an ambulance transporting a patient in Hebron's Palestinian neighborhood of Tel Rameda in the occupied West Bank. The incident damaged the ambulance, shattering mirrors and scratching the body of the vehicle. Yesterday, Loui Ridi, the Palestinian-American whose home in Kusra in the occupied West Bank has been besieged by Israeli settlers for over a week, traveled to his property to join other family members who have been defending it, according to the Associated Press. Reuters caught up with Ridi at the airport.
I'm going to stay in this house tonight, so I'm terrified. I'm asking the U.S. official, the embassy, to provide me protection and remove the settlers permanently from our village and my area. Well, because I've been watching this live for many days, and now this is the second week. I can't sleep, and I can't let the settlers steal my house while I was watching.
According to the AP, the siege of Palestinian homes by Israeli settlers comes as violence in the West Bank has soared in recent months. The settlers, emboldened by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's right-wing government, have ramped up attacks on Palestinian towns and villages, harassing residents and setting homes, mosques, and fields on fire. Israeli soldiers and settlers have killed 87 Palestinians so far this year, according to Palestinian health officials. Palestinians have reportedly killed 3 Israelis, including 2 who were killed during clashes in the West Bank village of Tel last month. Yesterday, as Ridi approached his home, settlers were still roaming near Kusra, according to video footage taken by his brother. Israel has since declared the neighborhood where Ridi's home is located a closed military zone. However, yesterday, Ridi's brother's footage still showed soldiers interacting amicably with Israeli settlers who drove their ATVs through the area. 10 months into a U.S.-backed ceasefire between Israel and Palestine, at least 1,260 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza, according to Al Jazeera. Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law and special envoy to the Middle East, claims that progress on Hamas's disarmament could come within 30 days, following talks with a Palestinian group in Cairo and Israeli leaders in Jerusalem. Hamas says it has accepted the ceasefire's plans' next phase, but demands that Israel first fulfill its commitments. A vessel transiting the Strait of Hormuz suffered engine room damage and a crew casualty after being struck by an unknown projectile today, according to the UK Maritime Trade Operations Agency. President Donald Trump told reporters in the Oval Office yesterday that Iran would not make the deal he thinks is needed to end the U.S. and Israel's war on the Islamic Republic, which began on February 28th, and that the country's leaders should surrender as peace talks have stalled, according to Reuters. The Memorandum of Understanding, agreed to by both the U.S. and Iran back in June, declared a, quote, immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts. But diplomatic efforts rapidly deteriorated from there, with President Trump saying it was, quote, over on July 7th, and Iran's foreign ministry declaring it, quote, suspended a week later. President Trump's approval rating has fallen to the lowest level of his presidency in a new Reuters Ipsos poll released yesterday. 80% of Americans, according to the poll, including 87% of Democrats and 71% of Republicans, believe the U.S. war with Iran will last a long time. 33% of respondents said they approved of Trump's performance in the White House, while 64% disapproved. Trump's approval rating, down from 35% in a poll that closed earlier this month, has now tied the lowest level of his prior term, reached in December of 2017. And protests continued yesterday at Big Bend National Park in southwest Texas.
As a former law enforcement officer, I did 23 years right here in Big Bend National Park. I can tell you that this notion that we need increased security at this level with all the infrastructure it's a false narrative. It's totally not necessary.
That was protester Michael Ryan, a retired park ranger, speaking to l'Agence France Presse news agency. According to the AP, the Trump administration said yesterday that it is temporarily pausing construction of a contentious border wall. Those are the latest Pacifica headlines. For the Pacifica Network, I'm Jesse Lind.